and welcome to Follow Everton. My name is Ryan and I'm here with Andy Mabs, who you can find on Twitter at ParkEndGoodison. Mabsy, how are you doing?
All right. Yeah, well, this manager saga's got on way too long for my liking, and I don't know whether it's going to end, when it's going to end, because I think it's a fight in a boardroom between Kenwright, Bands and Mashiri wanting their own guys, and it's just not going to work.
Mabs,
Someone needs to make the bloody decision.
I sense a little bit of frustration actually in your voice that this has gone on for 3 weeks now or something like that. It does feel like an eternity, doesn't it, this appointment?
Absolutely. I mean, it's like when I was chatting with Basil, I can't believe it's 3 weeks ago, but it just feels a lot longer. You know, when that rat left the club, you know, thank God he's out, to be honest, because he's showing his true colours. But I think this begs the question is who's in charge, because I don't think they know. I don't think the board knows who's in charge, because Kenwright wants his man, Bands wants his man, and Mashiri wants his man. At the end of the day, Mashiri needs to step up to the plate. Unfortunately, buy Kenwright out and tell Bands and tell Bands his position is you're director of football, but ultimately I make the decisions. There's too many cooks at the moment spoiling the broth.
Mabsy, I do agree. I do think there is an element of some indecisiveness here. And it does seem like a lot of cooks in the kitchen. The cooks maybe with the biggest control are the cooks who I'm looking at Farhad Mashiri and saying at the end of the day, it says he's got the final say. But really, some of the other cooks, maybe the sous chefs, in his eyes, should be stepping up to the plate and showing their authority on this. And I'm talking about Marcel Brands here.
But this is the point
football and not let him have the final say?
But at the end of the day, if he wants his man, he's paying. Mashiri's paying the wages. At the end of the day, Bands is there to buy the players, not to find the manager. They've got to have a working relationship, absolutely. But the ultimate decision is Mashiri is the boss. At the end of the day, we were all led to believe that Kenwright, in all this, Kenwright was just a figurehead. He obviously isn't. Now, why isn't Mashiri to say, right, I've had enough of this now. It's gone on too long. I'm going to buy you out, Bill. Thank you for, your 20 years of dedicated service to the club. And you know what? For me, I will never forget that. But
he doesn't have the shareholding anyway now to have the influence. He's elected as the chairman.
But he is having the influence in the board. This is the problem.
Well, if they didn't want him,
why isn't he having it?
If they didn't want him, they'd just get rid of him, surely. He's a chairman. He's elected.
You think so? But why is he having the say? Why is Kenwright going back to the glory days of the back of Harpen to David Moyes? I'm not being funny. We wasted God knows 7-8 years with David Moyes and to tread water, but then to do the dirty on the club and then to do the dirty on Kenwright and then Kenwright still to bloody love him. I don't get it.
I mean, you're making some really valid points. I know there's 20 people watching. Thanks for joining us right now on Follow Everton. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe to us on YouTube or like this video on Facebook. It really helps us with the rankings. Now, Mabs, you make some perfect points. I want to go straight to the comments because the big news now is that Rafa Benitez reportedly, and this is according to some sources, Jim White, Liverpool Echo, and some other sources, and then obviously Alan Myers has come and stamped and said this isn't true. But we're going to go off the basis that there is some substance in this because I don't think these things come out of nowhere. I do think they were probably close to appointing Nuno and then had second thoughts. I do think maybe it is moved on to Rafa. It might not be as close as they're being made out. But I'm just going to pick up the comments first away from Neil Chapman. Hiya, Neil. If you're watching, still give us a like. He says, don't want the red prick anywhere near our small club.
Okay, right. Okay, so with that comment, yes, he made it. And yes, whatever bullshit he gave saying that he meant a score squad, no, he did mean small club. However, we've got to realise he was the manager of Liverpool at the time. And, everyone's moved on. People move on. People change. Will he give 100% to the club? Yeah, he bloody well will. I think he will. And I think he's a good, if we can get him, yeah, absolutely. But don't get me wrong. I am sitting on the fence here. I would take Nuno at this point because, again, Nuno with the super agent of Portugal absolutely. He has the connections, and I'd take Nuno. Ideally, I'd want Galtieri. That's not going to happen because he's going to Nice.
On what basis? You're only basing
dreams.
His win in Lille.
Yeah, he's a young, fresh manager with fresh ideas, just a different take on things. Give him a go. Why not?
We're going to come and talk about some of these other managers. Just focusing on Rafa at the moment in relation to the context. We said that Nuno was close. People were really, really against Nuno Santo, but I think now they're being presented with this option of Rafa, the diehard Evertonian who hates his guts because he is a cop-out. Let's be honest.
Okay, fair dues, fair comments.
They're allowed to make these comments, and people are going, actually, now I will have.
I'm not. Just please, Neil. I'm not disagreeing with you. Yeah, absolutely. He did make those comments, and for all the bullshit that he said a few weeks ago, he did mean small club. I agree with that. I'm not going to argue with Neil. He's entitled to his opinion, and I somewhat agree. But he's the best of a bad bunch potentially.
I think the signing of Rafa Benitez is kind of like a continuity type signing. He's going to play like for like football. We'll touch on him as an individual character and what he could bring to the club in a moment. I'm actually going to bring David, aka Basil, from the channel coming in very shortly. Just before, very quickly, I'm just going to follow up. I know there's some comments from Kenny and Martin and David. And
can I just ask Neil to comment who he'd want? And anyone who's listening to comment who their preferred manager is as well. But Neil, I want you to know who do you want, Neil?
Widen your horizons, because the list is like picking whether you want, a mouldy egg or
that's a bad bunch, isn't it? It's correct. You know what? When we were linked with Potter and we were close to signing him, I just don't know if that was the board kind of like saying, you've got to get behind someone, kind of, otherwise we will get Potter in. You know what I mean? As a smokescreen to say, you know what I mean? I don't know. The club were trying to say, this is, you've got to. It's either him or Potter.
I just think these names were all put forward by the agents, and they get leaked. I'm just going to follow up with the Neil comment and then come to some of the other comments. And I'm going to bring David in very, very shortly. We're meant to have millions. He ain't the man to take us forward. We just give these cop-outs the ammo to shoot us down every time. It's embarrassing.
Fair point, Neil.
It is spot on. It's embarrassing. I'm just going to give my take on this very, very quickly. And let's bring David in here now. Hi, David.
Hello.
Make sure you adjust the levels and turn the microphone around. My opinion is, as an Evertonian growing up, we're talking, I'm 27, nearly 28, growing up with the Moyes era and the late sort of, other eras. Rafa Benitez was the arch enemy manager. He was the manager from 2005, I think, maybe to 2012. And you're talking about that's literally pretty much the start of my following, getting really... he's the arch enemy manager, and now we're turning around and potentially bringing in him. And to me, that is very similar to Liverpool going, let's bring in David Moyes. Okay, David Moyes probably doesn't have the same attachment even because he didn't win anything, but I just feel it is very similar to that kind of. It's like having a shit in public or picking your nose. This is taboo to sign him, in my opinion. Give me your.
Don't get me wrong. And again, to Neil, I'm not going to argue with you because I think you're right. I get it, because I think someone was saying on Twitter before, if we lose the derby 2-0, you can imagine Red Shite's 5 minutes going to chanting his name, and potentially that could happen, but then potentially it could happen a different way. You just don't know. I do think it's a gamble, but it's best of a bad bunch. That's all I'm saying. I'm not 100% behind them.
And this is what Stephen says here. Hi, Steve, a regular watcher of the channel. He says it is the best of a bad bunch. And coming in, David, if you can just come into some of the comments and Kenny's in particular, he says, I think it's panic after getting fed up waiting. I would prefer Ralph Ragnick, I'm assuming, the guy from Lille, Conte, Lau, Lampard. We're going to talk about some of these other managers in the context of it very quickly. We've gone from the great manager who has been called us a small club to, okay. I think we get the point.
Yeah, but, okay, the great manager, who fucked us over, let's not forget, basically jumped ship at the first fucking opportunity, because we all know that was his fucking intention now. So, you know, we call him a great manager, but...
It was a stopgap. The Ancelotti thing's a stopgap. David, I want you to come in on this. Lampard, he not an experienced enough manager. And Conte, someone else has mentioned Conte, I think. I'm just looking down the list. Neil said Conte.
I mean, if you're going to go for Lampard, why not go for Big Dunk? You know what I mean? It's the same ilk, isn't he? Let's be honest.
David, Conte is an 18-month appointment. Another one who's going to jump ship.
Conte would be a short appointment, I would think, because he'll just up sticks and leave as soon as, you know, he's not going to wait around for financial fair play. He's not interested in a long-term project with us. He wants to win a trophy in the next 12 months. We're not in a position really to win a trophy. You saw how bad we were last season. No one's going to turn us around that quickly. But you look at the names that are out there for me, and I'm really struggling with them. I don't think there's good options, but I think half of that problem is you've got the likes of Conte and that sort of class of manager, and you worry now because of what's happened with Ancelotti. You're thinking, oh, we don't go for the big name anymore because they're going to leave anyway.
I think he's happy at Everton.
Arguably, though, Rafa is a big name. I know, obviously, it's a fake connection, but he is a big name. Let's be honest. And also, you've got to look at, well, he lives in Merseyside, Wirral, Heswell, so it's not Merseyside technically, it's the Wirral. But you know, he settled that he wouldn't want to leave that jump ship. Like,
but Mabsy, answer this. This is a Kenneth. Hi, Kenneth. Give us a thumbs up. You still watching? Answer this. If he
hasn't. But he hasn't. He's been working in China. He got fucked up by Newcastle and got a job straight away. So everyone thinks he's been out of work. He's not. He has been working. He's been in China when he was paid stupid amounts of money.
Booted out Madrid. Booted out of Madrid. He didn't really do an awful lot. Steve Bruce has got a better record than him at Newcastle. His football was defensive.
Okay, you booted out Madrid. So was Ancelotti.
Well, I don't want more of the same of that. I think
no. But I'm trying to say, you're saying, well, he was beaten out Madrid. Well, yeah, so was Ancelotti beaten out Madrid. So you can't say that as a reason that, you know what I mean?
Okay, but I think you're talking about, David. I'll bring you in here very quickly. Just very, very quickly, want to say you have to look at this as what club are Everton? Are they someone who sees himself as got a squad full of international players that need to deliver now? Then Rafa probably does make a sensible choice. If you lose the Liverpool connection, it works. It's continuity. If you're talking about a team that needs to rebuild, which most Evertonians think the team is shit and they need to rebuild, then you need to look at young, upcoming, or someone who's going to revolutionise it.
Yeah, but can Nuno do that?
Well, I think he can do that. But I think Rafa, I was going to say, just before you said, funny enough, that you judge him on two levels. One is pretend he's not had a connection to Liverpool. Is he the right man, first of all? And second of all, how bad is the connection to Liverpool in terms of, you know, does that destroy the whole idea of having him in the first place?
It won't with them. It will with some of them. I mean, it will with some of them, but it won't with some.
I think it shows how out of touch they are with what we actually want. We've got a red kit and we're now signing potentially.
We've got a red kit. We've got a burnt orange kit. Come on, don't say it's red.
Orange.
I can't say it's red. It's clearly red.
It's not red. It's orange.
You haven't seen it in the flesh. It's disgusting.
I've seen it in the flesh. It's orange, but it looks red on TV.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. Light. Okay, I'll give you that. But it is orange in real life.
But we don't know. We don't know what we want. You know, none of the Everton fans can actually mutually agree on any one name. So you think the board are probably in the same position, fighting against each other? We're in limbo right now. Nobody knows where to turn.
This is my point. At the end of the day, you know, it's been. We have missed a fucking golden opportunity here, right? Okay, we've just the Euros are already now kicked off, right? So we should have got someone in before the Euros, because at the end of the day, then they could have gone to the scouts and say, right, this is what I want, this is what I need for you to be looking at while you're at the Euros. Now, it's like, what? Sorry.
You'd hope they're not that amateur that then they don't have any targets. You're talking about we're going to talk about.
Okay, but you don't have any targets, but you don't know who's going to be your boss, so you don't know what style of football that they want you to play.
Well, I think a footballer who's universally regarded as good, has pace, has strength, can dribble, can carry the ball, can pass the ball, can tackle. You can identify that no matter what manager you are. Maybe that Netherlands right back, David, you saw him the other day. You'd hope that we have an agreement with him if he is someone we're going to sign, and we're not just going after the Euros blindly with this new manager scouting around, looking, with a week before the pre-season. So
it's a ridiculous situation, because at the end of the day, they're all now going to be turning up, not knowing. So they're going to be turning up after pre-season, not knowing what they're dealing with.
Yeah,
I mean, they could have gone away. They could have gone away a few days before, and had a great thing. But now it's just a fucking mess. And the board, it's the infighting in the board, I'm telling you, that is causing this. At the end of the day, we should have been focused. They should have had a shortlist. They should have been, right, we're going to go for him. We'll go all out on him. But no, there's Ken Wright putting in. There's Mashiri putting in. There's Bands putting in. And there's apparently I've heard as well, there's Ustinov putting in through his contact on the board. So, whose club is this? Is it Mashiri's? Is it Ustinov's club?
It's the fans' club.
So
it's the fans.
Of course, it's the people's club. We've got to be realistic, Ryan. We don't make the decisions.
But they should know. They should know about this. It's going to divide. He's always going to be 3 or 4 games away from the sack.
Every manager they appoint is going to divide because of the dross, the sheer non-inspiring choices that you've all made.
Well, what is that all about? We're talking about.
There's no one that's really got me excited to say, "Oh yeah," like Ancelotti did. I know we fucked this over, yeah, but there's got to be that sort of that JC Quart, that passion.
Does Conte not do that for you?
But Conte's not been linked, David. We've not even approached Conte, have we? Yeah. We've been going for the dregs. Today.
I read that we have, but I'm sure you're just saying.
I'm sure they've spoken to him. Let's be honest, though. You don't want another manager coming in for a year or 12 months. Or, sorry, that's the same thing, isn't it? A year or 18 months or 2 years, only to go and get bored because he can't achieve anything with these bunch of crabs.
Yeah, but they should be able to achieve. But Ryan, you've got to argue the fact is, if he's getting the back end of the board, then he should be able to achieve something within 2 years. Ancelotti should have achieved something within 2 years. He didn't. And you know what? Because he was not backed in January. We were in a really good position in January. If we'd gone on and knocked on and got a good fucking striker, instead we got Josh King. Now, fair play to the lad. It didn't see him play. What was that about? That again was infight between him, Mashiri, between Carlo Ancelotti and Bands, because he was a Bands signing, which Ancelotti didn't want him. And I'm not surprised he walked. Why the fuck would you think? Well, the likes of they want to get Mbappe, right? And we bring in Josh King. You know what I mean? They're sold. They're going to go to Ancelotti. We're going all out for Mbappe, right? Ban says they can get you Josh King. #levels.
Okay.
What's your thoughts on that?
I understand what you say. But I do want to address, because there's a lot of comments waiting, if that's okay.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm just getting carried away. I apologise.
Now there's like 15 comments or something, and I'm cautious we're already 20 minutes. We want to try and wrap this up by 9:15. Not even hired fans already negative. From David.
Yeah.
Jack.
He's right. No, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Counter argument for maybe pro Rafa, I'd say. David, give us a thumbs up.
The pro Rafa, for me, I'm just trying to think about it as a devil's advocate, and the things that he did say, we all know what he said. Was that to appease the Liverpool fans at the time?
Of course it was. It's a Liverpool comment. He can't expect 50 years down the line he's going to get the Everton job.
The only thing he can now is come in and say Liverpool are a small club.
Ancelotti was sitting here.
Yeah, but no, that's never going to happen.
I want to stay. I want to build a project. I love it here. Then he's off. They just say what they want to appease the fans at the time.
At the end of the day, with Rafa, though, I do generally think he'll mean it, because he lives on Merseyside. He wants to stay on Merseyside. How many years after he was sacked from Liverpool that he still lives on Merseyside? He's not going anywhere. He was one. He took the Newcastle job because he was offered it. He took the Chinese job because he was offered it. We've been linked with him several times in several positions. Yeah,
Breaking news!
I'm so on. What?
Everton are about to bring in Ryan Babel on a season-long loan, and Dirk Kuyt is coming out of retirement to take the armband. What do we make of that?
Hang on. Sergio Ramos is about to leave Madrid.
The other thing I would say about Rafa is that his play style, obviously at Newcastle, we saw a lot of very defensive, counter-attacking football. It's kind of a bit like the way we've been playing this season. And I'm not saying I want to play like that, but maybe the board are thinking, well, at least he's going to be able to use these players in that system until he can get better players to build a better system.
I mean, we don't even know that it is Rafa again, because Alan Miser said it isn't.
Kenny say, oh, hi, Kenny. Give us a thumbs up if you're still watching, Kenny. I think it's a panic after get fed up waiting. I would prefer. Hang on, I've done this. Same one. Sorry. I'm getting confused. I think he said Nuno. He wouldn't have Nuno. He'd just raid Wolves. And
who would you have then, Kenny? Because you got to have someone. Who would you have? You can't have Galtieri. I love Galtieri, but he's going to Nice. He's already signed for Nice. So
yeah, he would be my first choice, but I think the language barrier is a bit of an issue as well. I mean, the Nuno makes sense because he's Portuguese, so he would, obviously with all our contingent of Portuguese and South American at the moment.
Yeah, we're meant to be signing this Nunes guy. Apparently, he was spotted in the Titanic Hotel. He might have come for talks. And
everyone's spotted the Titanic, aren't they? Everyone's been spotted in the Titanic, apparently.
6 foot, quite
Nuno's been apparently allegedly pictured in an Everton training gear in the Titanic. Yeah. And then next thing we hear, it's Rafa Benitez. What the fuck?
Neil, again, we've gone from celebrating getting Carlo to being laughed at. I know, it's just like going full circle from having a stylish, classy manager to going to get an extra.
A slightly classy manager that, let's be honest, was uninspiring at times, and then fucking ditches the first chance he got.
Lawrence,
let's not beat around the bush. Let's not pretend Carlo was this fantastic guy. I'm not having that. Lawrence, we need a top manager. Who would you have, Lawrence?
Oh, don't ask him. That's my dad.
Why not?
He'll come
on, Lawrence, tell us.
Steve Bruce, or what about getting I don't know, Trevor Brooking, or he'll just come up with something. He's not even a manager, but the fixtures did come out today. Actually, Southampton at home, I think, and Leeds away. Some of the beat Villa, we go top. I think 5 or 6 games in.
God, don't.
I didn't even pay much attention to it because
not interested.
No, anticlimax. Let's be honest. Rig fixtures. So the Shite get fucking Boxing Day. The Shite get again final game last season. It's actually a fucking joke. These fixture lists. I was out to say you should be at home at the start of the season one year, then away at the end, and then next year it switches round. That's what it's meant to work like. But oh no, we've only played one game at home on Boxing Day in the past 10 years. One fucking game. That's disgusting. It's not right. I love away games, don't get me wrong. But why is it that, our fans can't go to the match on the Boxing Day? Why? Because the Shite fans.
Year on year going.
They're those dickhead fans. What?
I do remember going year on year on Boxing Day, I think.
At least it's a trip to Burnley.
After 10 years, though, right? Probably once in 10 years, we've probably had it.
Madsy, you'll be going back up to Turf Moor, and the last time we went there on Boxing Day, wasn't it 5-1 to Everton?
Yeah, absolutely. I love Burnley. I love the away day. I love the cricket ground. I love getting pissed on the gym. It's a brilliant fucking away day. Don't get me wrong, but Boxing Day, I like home fixtures, like the fact, like being at Goodison. What's your opinions, guys? Lancard could be good. Lawrence, really?
He still thinks he's playing football. Maybe good 5 years ago in the midfield.
You want a top manager, Lawrence, and then you say Lampard, really? Sorry.
Read it out loud. If you're going to read it.
See, read it.
No, go on. I'm not reading it. You can.
He's saying if we get top 6, win trophy, sign big players, and beat Liverpool the only way, he's always going to be 3 games away from the sack, isn't he? I fear us losing James. Alan can't run. James doesn't care, probably. And Dean,
I'm not asked about Richarlison anymore. He can go fuck himself for all I actually give a shit, because let's be honest, the way that he's sucked up to Ancelotti, he can go fuck himself. You know what? Go to Madrid and fucking fail. We'll get 100 million for you, and then you know what? They didn't even like Gareth Bale. They're not going to like you, Richie Son, when you're on the ground every fucking 5 minutes, are they? Go ahead. Go.
Andy, what do you think of this in particular from Christian? Hi, Christian. Give us a thumbs up if you can.
It's like George Graham going to Spurs, and that didn't work out. Well, I'm not asked about Spurs.
No,
I'm only asked about Everton.
Rivals and all that. And on the Lampard again, Kenny's with us. Youth, he had Mount at Derby, trusted him at Chelsea. He believes in youth, but I don't think. Yeah, to some extent, they do want to.
But then why not? Let's just give. Why are we not giving Ferguson a go then? If we can get someone on a sparring manager, at least let's get a bot manager that everyone can get behind, and everyone can get behind Dunk. Marcel Bands can work with him. Say to him, I'll do the buy-in. This is what he's meant to do. We'll help each other out, and then we can get. They must get along. They must. If we get Lampard, fucking go for Ferguson. He knows the club like the back of his hand.
At least he buys the club. Whoever we bring in here is just here for the paycheck.
Big Dunk, no. Well, who do you want to stay though? Who do you want? Because you've said everything no to everyone. So
you let us know. Come on, thumbs up as well. Anthony's saying Rafa. I don't know what he means by that.
He probably copy.
Sorry if you're an Evertonian, apologise. It seems quite celebratory. Really sorry.
Sorry, I'm just trying to sorry today, mate. So I'm no offence means.
We're going to get with Holgate. Hellgate, that's brilliant. For me, straight away, if we've got a director of football who's actually doing his job, he should be saying Holgate isn't good enough. Keane, Mina can only play one system, which is a low block. So if you want to do anything else, get rid. John Joe Kenny, not good enough. Cenk Tosun, not good enough. Bernard, Iwobi, Sigurdsson, not good enough. Gomez, hit and miss, can't be trusted. Delph, get rid. And Kunku, not ready yet.
But the only problem being is we're going through the whole squad here, and basically it's just who do you keep? Because let's be honest, but then you've got to rebuild the whole fucking football team, and again, that's not practically possible within the transfer window. You can only get 4 or 5 players. You've got to be realistic.
You can use youth,
which Carlo never did.
Also, just to let you know, guys, slightly off topic. We're close to wrapping up. I'm on 6% on the battery, and the way these MacBooks are, you can only have one thing in the USB at once. It's ridiculous, and I haven't got the adapter, so I can't charge at the same time. So I'm going to have to dart off and pass over the reins to the main man in the middle, David, just to briefly touch on Nuno Santo and Rafa and some of the other candidates and possibly the transfer news and what he thought about the Dutch right back. But obviously, I know you're going to be wrapping up in about 5 minutes anyway. So I'm just signing off just so this doesn't die on me, and you know that why I've gone. So thanks for watching, and these guys are going to keep continuing. I'll speak to you soon.
Cheers.
I'm
See you later, Ray.
Has to come out. Okay. See ya.
See ya. So
yeah.
Nuno. I mean, again, it's just I can't get excited about Nuno Espirito Santo. He's a good manager, yeah, but is he for us? I don't know. I really don't.
The one thing with me for Nuno, the positives are he can put in a style of play with the team. They can be a possession-based team. He will bring in Portuguese players with his super agent, so-called super agent Mendes. He will bring in some Portuguese players, probably with pace, probably a bit of width for our side. And his injury record at Wolves, he liked to keep a small squad, and generally they didn't get too many injuries, except obviously Jimenez got that very unfortunate injury, but generally they didn't have all the niggles that we had this year. So obviously his team are doing something that we're not. So there are a few positives, but there's positive and negatives with all the managers that we've talked
Can
about.
you get excited? Can you really, honestly get excited with Nuno?
I can't get excited about anything because we've just lost Ancelotti. What could
I think
possibly?
you've got to forget about Ancelotti because at the end of the day, I just think he's a has-been. He'll get messed over in Madrid again. Simple as, because I just think he's the way that he plays a negative. It was negative this season. It wasn't great football, was it? Let's be honest. Obviously, that's with the squad, etc. We all know the problems there, but I just don't think he G'd them up a bit to me. And also, it turns out he was a disloyal, rat. Let's be honest. They knew 2 weeks before Andy was going. Knew 2 weeks before, and to me, to put out that statement saying, "Oh, we're on 6 to the new stadium" and all that bullshit, it's bollocks. I'm just having one of those fucking days where you wake up, you're thinking you've settled with Nuno. Then you're waking up thinking, oh no, they've changed their minds, and then it's Rafa, and then suddenly that's swept under your keep, and it's not, and it's like, well, someone somewhere needs to make a decision. That's what they're paid to do, and they need to do it fast. They need to be doing it this week. They need to be doing it within the next few days. They surely should. After 3 weeks, they should know who they want. Surely.
So, what's your thoughts on Dunk overall? Because Kenny says he's a fan. He knows the academy. He turned DCL around. Would you take him then?
Again, it's a tough one. He's a great ambassador of the club. He's a great assistant manager, absolutely. But can he handle the day-to-day running of this club? I don't know. Personally, no, it's not a like. I think Dunk has to go out and manage a championship team or manage a lower league team just to prove, we can take the step up to become with us. Because I just don't want, what I don't want for us to do is to get Dunk as a panic and then we ruin our legacy with him. You know what I mean? We fall out with him. And
Lampard, when you compare those two, you look at Lampard, he went out to Derby. He was there for the year, he developed players, and then he went back to Chelsea and he did, a year and a half. So he's got a lot more. I'd say he's a lot more ahead of Dunk, even though Dunk's had experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But Lampard doesn't love the club like Dunk does.
No.
You know what I mean? That's why I'm saying they're on the par, because, Lampard, you have got that experience, but you've got with Dunk, you've got that passion and you've got that drive. But if you could get Dunk to manage a lower league team, come back in a year or two, when we're next at points and say, come on, here's the reins, take charge. I'd love that.
Yeah, but you look at Lampard, he came back, he got them into fourth, he did a good job, and then eventually he just couldn't take them to that next level. He didn't have the experience to do it. Tuchel's proved with his experience that the same squad that Lampard started to build, that
Lampard wasn't doing too bad in Champions League. At the end of the day, Tuchel didn't do great in the Premier League. He was way on the par with what Lampard was doing, in both leagues.
I think he did he rescued them. They were slipping down the table, weren't they? And he got them back up. Anthony from before, who you were calling the red. Sorry, it seems you are blue.
Sorry, mate. I do apologise, Anthony.
Giving time. Yeah, I mean, if it is Rafa, it's Rafa. What can we do? I mean, we're only supporters.
We get behind the club, and that's it. That's what us Blues do. We do it best. We'll get behind them. We'll get whoever it is. I'll get behind. I'll fall into line. I may not be happy that we've not got a big name, but you know what? I'll still be there at Goodison on the 14th against. Who'll be playing first game? I can't even know. I'll be there. I'll be in the seat. I can't wait. As I say, as soon as season tickets came available, I renewed the same day. This is my love for the club, and I'll never get changed, and I'll get behind whoever we get. And Southampton it is. Southampton at home.
Kenny's saying Carlo's made his bed, you lie in it. Of course, let's get Kenny.
Exactly.
Hopefully Carlo just screws everything up this year and just gets.
He will do. He fucking will do. The end of the day, will they turn on him like they did last time? Yes, they will. And you know what? bye, Carlo. End of the day, you're not into us, mate.
And Kenny also says that our under-23s are signing Carragher's son from Wigan. Not heard that one, but
Here's a curveball. Here's a curveball for you. What about Wayne Rooney?
Wasn't he really struggling with Derby just to keep them up this season?
But yeah,
I think eventually these names like the Rooneys, the Ferguson will become round, but I think they're all a bit too far off it.
Yeah, I'm just giving curveballs out at the moment because there's no other fucking, exciting stuff. And that's what I'm doing. I'm just throwing balls up. Don't get me wrong, I probably don't want them, but I'm just seeing throwing balls up and see where they land.
We're going to wrap up in a minute. I mean, the few people are still watching us. Just put a quick, who is it that you want? Have you made your mind up? Just give us a name.
It can be anyone you want, not just on the list, because I get it.
And Mabsy, I asked you the same question. Have you actually decided someone that you would want from the general list?
I would love Galtieri, and I said that at the beginning of the show. But again, I know Galtieri's not coming. He's not coming. And then, you know what? I love Conte because he's a big name. Yes, absolutely. I'd take him. Manuel Pellegrini, maybe. I don't know. We know what? We should be ambitious and going out for these names instead of going for Nuno Espanto. And again, we keep harping back to the same figures every single time that we sack a manager, because I think it was last time before we appointed Silva that I think Wolves were just about going up, weren't they, into the Premier League, and we approached Nuno and he said no. Because again, I couldn't understand the Tinkerman, Kenny
Ranieri.
Again, not a bad shout, to be honest.
That's not bad. I think I would take him. I'm really
What's he up to these days?
I'm really struggling with the names that are being put on offer, and I think as we go through, we say names and we find reasons why they probably A, wouldn't come, or B, wouldn't suit Everton. And it's just like who's left, and it looks like Rafa's left, and that's disappointing half the fan base. And Nuno's left.
I think more than half, to be honest. Let's be honest, it's more than half. Let's not beat around the bush. More than half.
Yeah, Kenny's also suggesting Mancini. I think he means.
Yeah, no, Kenny, mate. Don't worry about your spelling, pal, at all. Please, don't worry about that. Yeah, Mancini. Why not?
Yeah.
I just want something like Joachim Low. Yeah. He's great stuff for Germany.
I think I read.
We've waited this long, so why the fuck not wait that extra to get Joachim?
I think I read that he's taking some time off after, because he's been a German manager for like 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, on the same respect, would you have Martinez back after the Euros once he's
finished? Yes. Absolutely. With Martinez, and my mates always said this, and you look in his eyes, and I've seen is that when he's ever questioned or mentions Everton, he's got that glint in his eye. He has got that glint. And you know what? He's improved as a manager. And I'm not going to be stupid and say he can get Lukaku back. He can't. We're not getting Lukaku back for any all the team in China. But we can get a few good players, some Belgian players. And yeah, I wouldn't mind. You'd have to have a defensive coach with him, a really good defensive coach. But yeah, I'd take Martinez back with a shot.
Yeah, I think
probably a controversial one, but yeah, I'd take him. I'd take Bobby Brown shoes back.
Well, I think you could say that he was probably the most successful we've had since Moyes left. Yeah, you could argue that on some levels. Yeah, we're gonna wrap up. Kenny said Silva's got the CSK Moscow job. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
right.
I feel sorry for CSK. Absolutely, Kenny.
Well, he's going to be, I don't know how long he's going to last. So let's see. Let's keep tight on the news. Let's see what happens. See who we get. It's not looking.
Thank you to everyone's contributed. We've had a load of contributors this evening. We don't usually get that, so it's been great. So thanks for that.
And if you haven't already, it would be great if you can head over to particularly YouTube to like and subscribe and try and get our numbers up. And we keep trying to put out regular videos. So I'm sure we'll be back soon enough.
Just remember, lads, whatever happens, we're always going to be blue. Come on, the Toffees.
Whoever it is, we're
Up the
behind them.
Toffees.
Up the Toffees. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.